Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. This morning, I wanted to talk about a new project that I'm going to be working on this summer, starting this summer. I've been talking about it for a long time. It requires a lot of work, a lot of reaching out to people and, really pushing to get the opportunity to shadow them and be in their space, which isn't always well received, but I think it will be really impactful for everyone that benefits from the finished product. So what am I talking about? It's called Secrets of Their Success, and it's the salon industry version of their success. You can do it in any business. Secrets of Their Success for, actors and actresses or doctors, lawyers, whatever industry. But I think that it's important to talk about it in the hair industry because we all have our own individual hair heroes that we look up to. And it doesn't necessarily mean someone with 400 million followers on social media. That's not always who the biggest heroes are. I mean, Vidal Sassoon never had social media, and he's the biggest icon our industry has ever seen. And if I could ever have the opportunity, which of course cannot be done, to have a conversation with him, I have many, many questions for him. And he's been interviewed and people have asked him his story, but I think if you interviewed him today, it would be a much different conversation than when he was here with us. So there's, so many different definitions of hero, what you think of as a hero. I think of a hero as someone who has no ego, is happy to share and be a mentor to others, is excited to help grow other people. On that note, I want to share my personal hero is my friend Johnny. I have fresh hair color thanks to Johnny. I was with him yesterday. He created this custom mug for me out of the kindness of his heart because he knows that this is my jam. This, RPC chart is like the foundation of my hair color teaching. So he made this for me just because. And he also made me one that has my picture on it and my brand on the other side. And they are, as you know, if you follow the coffee chat, my two favorite mugs, not only because they're custom and special and it makes me happy that he thought of me, but because it's the perfect size for the perfect cup of coffee. Every other mug that I have is just a little bit shorter and I can't get as much coffee in the mug and have my ratio of coffee to creamer. Yes, I love my coffee and I like it a certain way. So it is my favorite in all ways. And Johnny is one of my favorite people. And he has no ego whatsoever. He loves the industry, loves what he does. He's kind, he's generous, and he is married. He's a gay man who is in a monogamous married relationship. And he could have been, happily ever after, traveling the world, teaching in other countries, up on stage, doing all the things. But he has decided to make a difference in, young boys' life and has adopted 5 boys. He had more than that. One is grown and out of the house, but he has 5 boys whose lives he has changed. And when he made me this mug, I said, dude, you need to sell those. Like people are going to want those. So the first time I went on the coffee chat with this mug, I think like 15 of you said, where did you get that mug? So I'm going to share this is a shameless plug. This is me talking. Johnny did not ask me to do this because he never would, because he's that guy. So I'm sharing the link. The 5 boys are involved in making the mugs. He did this as a passion project. As you know, you can't imagine he's making millions off of mugs. There's not a big profit margin, but he loves doing it. And they set up a table and they're in their dining room. And these 5 boys each have a part in making that mug. One does the printout of the actual thing. The other one wraps it around the mug. The other one seals it. The other one puts it in the box. The other one labels the box. So he's teaching these 5 boys what it's like to be an independent entrepreneur and how to do things to take care of yourself. So he's teaching them about work ethic, about working together. That to me is the hero. That's my definition of a hero. So I want to share. I did go on to ChatGPT this morning to see like what really is the definition of a hero and what would make me pick, who I'm going to pick for this project. and I wanted to share it with you. So it says an industry hero is typically, hair industry is covered up by my thing. Hair industry hero is typically someone who has made significant contributions to the hair and beauty industry through innovation, creativity, or leadership. This person could be a hairstylist, barber, salon owner, educator, product developer, or influencer who is recognized for their exceptional skills, trend setting abilities, or efforts to advance the profession. Characteristics may include expertise and skill, demonstrates exceptional talent and technical ability. Innovation introduces new techniques, styles, or products. Education and mentorship shares knowledge and skills with others through teaching, training, or mentorship. Leads by example, inspiring and guiding others within the industry. Community impact contributes to the broader community through charitable work, advocacy, or initiatives. Recognition and awards. These individuals play a vital role in shaping the future of the hair and beauty industry and are celebrated for their contributions and achievements. So, on that note, I have so many hair heroes that have not been celebrated or awarded in the industry. They're the silent hero. They're the ones truly making a difference, truly giving back. There's a woman who created a company called Hair Aid. She is not a hairstylist. I just listened to a podcast and got her whole entire founder's story. And she's not a hairdresser. She was in a pub in, was she in Ireland? She was in England or Ireland in a pub, started having a conversation with these women who turned out to be nuns. She didn't realize that they were nuns. And they were talking about what was needed in the Philippines. And it turns out that they ended up talking about this conversation about how can they teach people that are in extreme poverty that have to give up their children because they can't feed them. They leave their children on the street in the hopes that someone will pick them up, like these nuns or a charitable organization. And it's not happening. They're being picked up by the sex trade, sex trafficking, drugs, all of those things. They're turning them into drug mules, all of that. So this woman is not even a hairdresser, and she has created this amazing company where she has hairstylists travel over to the Philippines, Cambodia, Vietnam, Bali, Indonesia, all of those countries. And we go and we teach people off the street how to do basic haircuts so that they can support their families. That's a hero. That to me is a hero. So if I look back at people who have been celebrated and who have really paved the way, who unfortunately, most of them are no longer with us for me to include in this project. The first person that comes to mind is Paula Kent Meehan from Redken. In 1960, she created the Redken Company, a female. Back in 1960, I just watched the, oh my gosh, what is her name? The judge. Oh my God, Jeff, what is her name again? I'm drawing a blank. You probably are all like shouting it at your screen. Um, she was the first female lawyer and judge, and we just lost her recently. What's the story that I just watched the other night? The judge. You're having a blank. Gator get something Ginsburg. What the hell's her first name? Anyway, Ginsburg, the judge. They have a whole movie on Netflix about her life, and she was super smart. She wanted to be a lawyer, and everybody, when she went into places, thought that she was there with her husband because her husband was also a lawyer. So females in this industry were not a thing on stage. Yes, we were able to be hairdressers. We were able to tease hair and spray it to the high heavens and pop people under the dryer where they smoked their cigarettes in the 60s. But women didn't start corporations and create hair color lines. So she was amazing. I never had the pleasure of meeting her. I have friends who are really good friends with her. She has passed, and she was a trailblazer. She created Redken. Jerry Cosenza from Sebastian, 1972. She was, very much part of creating Sebastian. She was the first person when I walked into my first hair show in the early 80s in New York. She was up on the stage, and I looked up to her and I was like, I'm going to do that someday. I want to be up on that stage teaching at a hair show. And I have done that. But if women like her didn't do it first, I would still be in the audience looking at men saying, oh my gosh, I wish I could be a man so I could be on stage. So much has happened, and we are so lucky to be born when we were. The whole time I'm watching that movie, I'm like pissed off for her. I'm like, oh man, I would not have done well in those days when women couldn't do anything but be barefoot and pregnant and cooking in the kitchen. I probably would have offed myself. It would not have been good. I would not have survived those days at all. So I want to hear from you because this project is exciting to me. I've been looking for something new to do that I can bring to you in the industry. And if you've seen my polls that I've put recently, I said, do you want it to be a printed magazine? Because I miss the printed magazine. My Modern Salon and my Launchpad, Beauty Launchpad, and all those magazines now come to me digitally, and I don't even look at them because I don't even think to go into my email and open it and look at it on there and zoom in and zoom out and all those things. I want it physically. I want to smell that smell of a magazine. I want to have it in my hands. I want to be able to cut out the pictures and put them on a vision board. So to me, I was excited about it being a printed magazine. Nobody wanted it. I'm glad I asked. It would have been a very expensive flop if I did a physical magazine. So that, or digital magazine. So then I said, physical magazine, more people want it physical than digital, but most people wanted it to be a video like docuseries, which is easier for me, so much easier for me. I do that all the time. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I asked. Digital it is. So I want to go and meet people that I think are making waves and unique and stand out in the industry that many of you may not know who they are, or you may just not have the opportunity to peek behind the curtain. I think that's exciting. If it were up to me, once a month, I would be in a different salon just shadowing somebody. And I'm not talking about anybody Insta famous at all. I'm talking about people that just love what they do, are excited to share. Everywhere I go and everyone I see that's in the industry has something to share. I taught a class in my hometown that I'm from in PA on hand painted balayage. I left there with the idea of putting either end papers or a skinny piece of foil around the hairline to help resistant gray cover. I got that from that salon. There was this basket of these little strips of foil, cut similar to like waxing strips. And I was like, oh, what are these? And they said, oh, how when the gray pokes up and and I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. So it's always something. I went to shadow my friend Ian. I could talk to you for 20 minutes of all the things that I learned from Ian that are completely different than I've ever seen in any other salon. And it's not always just hair. It's the way that he served a beverage to his clients. It was his coffee setup. It was the seltzer that he served to his clients, the brand of everything, how beautiful the salon was, how upscale the products were, how much time he spent with his clients, how he talked to his clients, how he trained his assistants. I could go on and on. If you ever want to shadow someone, Ian's your guy. You will learn so much in one day. It will be incredible. So I want to bring that shadow experience to you digitally. I want you to be able to sit on your own sofa or, on a lounge chair in your yard on your phone and feel like you're in that space with them and with me, shadowing them and watching them do just one small thing that's different and unique to you and to me, and that they're willing to share. So thank you, Pam. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Thank you. Oh, I said, I know. No, not Judge Judy. She reminds me of Judge Judy, though. So thank you for that. Oh my gosh, it makes me crazy when I have those brain farts. They're getting closer and closer together. So it's a little scary. I hope that I know that when my brain completely goes, that hair color facts are going to be the last to leave because they're the things that I can recall the most. I can look at a client I did 20 years ago and tell you her exact formula, but I can't tell you Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whatever her name is. So I hope that you guys are excited about this. Tell me if you're not, because it's going to take a lot of time and effort, a lot of me getting on airplanes, a lot of me hiring video crews. It's going to be an expensive project. But I think at this stage in my career, I've always been, I sat with it and I was like, what am I good at? And Bryn always teases me because she's like, Mom, you bring all these people to your retreats, and then your people spend more money with your guests at your retreat than they do with you on education. And she's like, they make more money than you do off of your retreats. I'm like, you're right. That does happen every single time. And I do get a little butt chafed, but I also enjoy connecting people together that may not ever, ever, ever have met each other. So that makes me happy. And that to me is more important than financial reward, that those people that I have invited to be with me, my members, are in a space with me and they're meeting people that I think are amazing and that I may have discovered that they may not have. So I'm working on some really special guests for this coming retreat. Ian, who I just talked about, will be there doing corrective color. So I know a lot of you struggle with corrective things. We're going to go deep on that this time. Alicia is joining us again because she's amazing. And she said, I'm coming whether I'm teaching or not, because she just loves being with all of you. So she's coming. And I'm working on someone who's coming all the way from Australia. So that's a much bigger ask because it's a really long flight. So I'm trying to figure out the logistics of how it would make sense for her to come. And she's going to share an amazing new tool that I recommend for everyone who does hair color. It's going to change you standing out in your market and doing a different service than anyone else does. I promise you. So that's awesome. So in order to come to the live event, because I see some people asking about it, in order to come, you need to be in the Hair Color Secrets Insider Inner Circle, which is my coaching community. There's about 300 so far already in the community. So you have to already be in that community. So if you haven't joined and you're on the fence, please join in time to attend the November event. I promise it will be amazing. It always is. We love our events. It is November 10th to the 12th. And it's the same spot, the Cambria in Florida. So if you didn't get here in April and you had FOMO and you saw our white party and all of our fun pictures, please gift it to yourself. I know November can be a little bit busy in the salon, so that's a big ask. But people were asking after the April event, are you going to do another one this year? I couldn't make it. We had a lot of members have family weddings. Their own son was getting married. Son was getting married. So things like that. So I said, you know what? Let's do another one. November is a beautiful time to come to Florida. And it's right before your Christmas holiday madness. So it's a good little check-in for yourself that if you haven't raised your prices, November is the perfect time to raise prices. And we talk about that at the event. So if you've been on the fence and you're nervous, coming home from the event, or actually not even coming home from the event, we had people pick up their laptop and raise their prices right at the event. They just did it right there because they were feeling brave. And they came back to me and said, nobody said a single thing. It was awesome. So they gave themselves a raise because they were there. So I hope that you will join me. So now I want to hear from you. Type into the comments, who is your hair hero that I may not know about, or maybe I know about them, but I don't think that you want to hear about them, that you already know about them. So who comes to mind when you think of somebody like, oh man, if you won a prize and you could shadow for a half a day or a day, anyone that you know that does hair, whether they're famous or not, anyone on this planet that does hair, who would you want to stand beside and watch do hair? Carlene said Lorraine Massey. I've been blessed to watch Lorraine Massey do hair, and she is a great pick, and I will definitely reach out to her. Thank you for reminding me. I always think about color because color is my thing, but there's so many people that aren't colorists that also are amazing heroes in her industry. So Lorraine, Sonia Dove is amazing. I have had her. Sue, if you go into your Inner Circle library, you have a ton of things from Sonia in there. She did a class just for us. She did an interview with me. She did my hairball. Michael said always Beth Minardi. So of course, Beth Minardi was my number one hero. She will be in it. Chris Barron, great idea. Ian or Christina. Yes, for sure. These are awesome. Anybody else? Yeah, Sonia's amazing. She's so down to earth. She joined us. She was in Mexico during COVID, and she joined us with her adorable boyfriend, and we chitty chatted and we videotaped everything. Sam Villa, I am going to try my best. He almost did Revival. He was one of the first people I called for Revival, and he said yes. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, Sam Villa is doing it. This is amazing. And then his people reached out and said that Redken already booked him with something and he had a conflict and couldn't do it. And then after that, I could never get him. So I have a friend who's pretty close with him, and I'm going to try to go in through that channel. Sue Pemberton, we've had her in Revival. I'm sure she would absolutely do it. Jean Bra, she's been quiet. Is she still with us? I'm trying to think. She's, I know Tracy Cunningham. I'm going to do my best, Katie. Like she is someone that I would definitely want to have, but someone that busy, like she literally does 40 clients a day. She travels to Dubai and back. Like she is one of the busiest people on the planet. Like I don't even know how she does what she does. I would almost have to apply to be an assistant at her salon and get in there that way. Blake Evans is right in my backyard. I have reached out to him multiple times to be on the podcast. He says yes, but I have to say, Blake, if you're watching, he has zero follow through. He's like, yes, I would love to be on your podcast. And we go back and forth about dates. And then that's it. Radio silence, crickets. I never hear from him. So I may just have to show up the next time he does a Redken event here in St. Petersburg and just bully him into doing it. Joe Blackwell, absolutely. And we have a ton of videos in the inner circle with Joe Blackwell. She has done every revival with me. She has been amazing. Vivian. So Vivian, Nick, all the people you're asking for are all part of the inner circle library. So you guys have access to all of the behind the scenes with them and classes with them when you join my group. So if you've been watching this coffee chat and you're not a member of the Hair Color Secrets Insider Inner Circle, you need to be, because we have Sonia Dove in there. We have Jessie Skiptrall. We have Vivian McKinder, Nicholas French, the Wilsons, Joe Blackwell, Beth Minardi. They're all in there. Sue Pemberton, everyone that you've named except for Tracy Cunningham and Chris Barron are in there, and Lorraine Massey. I would love to have Lorraine Massey do a Pintora video for me. That's a good plan. I gotta write these down because I'm gonna forget. The brain, my Dora brain that I shared with you today, Dory brain. My grandmother Betty. I want to hear more about Betty, Whitney. I want to hear more about grandmother Betty because I would love to talk to her. Beth Minardi always shares that Constance Hartnett is her hero in hair color. That she was one of the original balayage people, Constance Hartnett. I'm sure you've never heard of her because she's way back. We think balayage was invented by, Larissa Love and all these people that we see on TikTok and Instagram. Balayage goes way back in France a long time ago. And Constance is one of the first. She taught Nancy Braun. Nancy Braun taught all these people through L'Oreal. And now they are the people that you think invented freehand balayage. So I reached out to Constance, same thing. We had a great conversation. She was lovely woman. She was going to be live in my group with my group. We were going to be able to ask all these questions. And unfortunately, her daughter got really sick during COVID, and I think she may have passed. So it was right when that happened. And she was just like, I can't do this. Like she was very intimidated by the technology about getting on Zoom. So I was like, I will fly to you. I will come to you with a camera crew. Like I will do whatever I can to get to you. And it was just too much. She was, older and did not like Christina Russell. Yes, she is in there. We've done many things together for sure. She's been on my podcast several times. I've been on her podcast several times. Christina, the reason that you know about Christina is most likely from me. I found her and brought her into the membership, and I brought her onto the coffee chat. So Sally Lemo, who is that on the Cleveland something? Is that her real name? Because she reached out to me to be on the podcast. I think that's Cleveland Hair or something. Let me know if that is. Emily Chain. I don't know. Oh, Chen. Emily. Oh, yeah. I see her videos. Emily Chen. Let me write this down. I have seen her videos. And then when I do get the go ahead and the green light with these people, what do you want to see? Like, do you want to see them do hair? Do you want them to talk about how they got started, how they grew their clientele? Like, tell me what kind of questions you want to ask them. Lorraine Massey, Christina Russell, Beth, Joe Blackwell. Joe Blackwell just closed her salon and moved to a different part of town and has a smaller salon there. Lots of changes in the industry, and it's for the successful people as well as the people just starting out. Nick French. I would love to get you a behind the scenes look at Nick French's Palm Springs house. It's really cool. He inspired me to decorate my house the way that I have. I went with mid-century modern, like retro 60s vibe. And that was from Nick's, from filming Revival. I was like, oh, I love your house. I love that whole vibe. Graham Webb, that's a good one. He's the one that got Vivian and Ruth Roach started. Blake Evans. Ian, of course. Michael, I would love to come to England and do that. That's on my bucket list. Sally. Lemo. Cleveland. Sam Villa. I might have to have all of you direct message Sam and say, you have to be part of Elaine's project. We have to bully him into doing it. A day in their world. Yeah. Like I'm thinking like see their house. You know what I mean? Like where do they live? How do they live? Do they live in a high rise with a doorman and, order in food? Or do they live in a single home? Do they have kids? Do they have a dog? I'm sorry, Graham Webb and Trevor Sorby, they were all part of the same crew. Yeah, Ruth is hilarious and she's been great. She did both revivals as well. Lisa, I would love a hands-on class with you and your colorist. I want to go to England with you. That sounds awesome, Lisa. Let's do it. Do you have haircut classes online or do you? So I don't have hair cutting classes in my library, but I can absolutely recommend people that I love that are good teachers of hair cutting, for sure. So no, I don't get into that because I believe in specialization. Like my salon, we specialize in cut and color. We don't do wedding hair. We don't do makeup. We don't do waxing. We don't do kids. We don't do like all of those little things. We're like, we want all of our education to be, we want our girls that cut to be the best cutters they possibly can be. We want our colorists to be so, educated on all things color, to be able to handle anything that comes their way. Is that Mary or Philip? So the Wilsons, 100% for cutting. So we do have them in the Revival library. They're just not in the Insider library. So if you've done Revival, you know that they are major supporters of our Revival event, and they are definitely going to be at the next Inner Circle retreat, not November. They want to do May of next year. So hey, Mary. So we're going to get the Wilsons for sure. And they will be part of the secrets of their success. So Mary, if you're just joining, make sure you watch the replay. Robert Cromines, he's another one that's tough. I bullied him on Periscope on, oh my gosh, what was the recent app where it was all just audio and you just talked? Oh, somebody help me out with this. Another brain fart. It was all just people talking in a chat and there was a lot of educators on there. And I was bullying Robert Cromines because he was on with Mary from Behind the Chair. And he was talking about how approachable he is and how much he gives back and how much he loves the regular hairdresser. And I was like, dude, you've been blowing me off for months about doing Revival. Like, what the hell? I totally called him out right on the platform. I'm sure he wasn't happy about it, but he's like, oh my gosh, write to me again. I'm so sorry. And of course I wrote to him again and got nowhere again. So Robert Cromines would be really fun and I will do my best and try to get him. But I can't promise that he will be receptive. I actually have a great photo of me. I was in Italy at a hair show and I'm walking by and I see Robert Cromines and he has his hat on and he wears a kilt and all these crazy clothes. And I grabbed his beard and I look like I'm biting his beard in the picture. It's one of my favorite pictures. If I can find it quickly, I'll put it up here after I hang up. But, always very approachable, always amazing. But I think he just has a lot going on. He has big salons in Vegas and schools and all the things. So I think he just got too busy to do things like that. But what is Revival? Revival was, I think we were the first ones to do a virtual hair show. It was during COVID. I reached out first to the Wilsons because I have the best personal relationship with them. And I said, hey, thinking about doing this. What do you think? they were able to get me Nick French and Sue Pemberton, who now I have a relationship with because of Mary and Philip. So it's all about the connectivity of all of us. That's what I love, and that's what I'm good at. So Mary and Philip, Nick French, Sue Pemberton, Vivian, Joe Blackwell. It was all of us together. Well, not together. We were all in our own homes on camera doing a hair show from our home. And it was amazing. We did it 2 years in a row. And then when I started to do it the third year, I was like, you know what? People are getting like Zoom fatigue. They're getting so tired of everything being on the screen. They want to be in person. And that's when I started doing more in-person live events. So I love seeing everybody in person now that we can. I've thought about doing a hybrid where, maybe have the Wilsons on the screen at the November event where we're still with them, but we're not with them. Tell me what you think about that. If you're coming to the event, if you think you would like that, or if you'd rather wait for them to come in person at the next event. So I'm always open to suggestions. I'm open to everything. But on another note, a lot of people yes me and say, I put an email out to my members of the inner circle. And I said, a lot of you have asked about in-person hands-on classes. And I'm happy to do that for you. I can do it here at Johnny's salon in Florida, or I can do it in PA at my salon. So I sent it out to 300 people and I got all these responses. Oh my gosh, what are the dates? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. In the end, when all the dust settled, I had 3 people that wanted to actually sign up and pay for it. And I think it was very reasonable. A lot of people thought it was a lot, but hands-on is a lot of work and it's a lot of intensity with small amounts of people. So it's a time thing. If I get $100+ behind the chair an hour to do hair, to teach multiple people hands-on with models, all those things, it has to be that or more to make it make sense for me and the person coming. So a lot of people say, like Michael has been asking me to come to England. I know if I go to England, Michael will be there and he'll make it happen. I know that because he's shown me that he's that guy. But a lot of people will say, oh, we can't wait, we can't wait, we can't wait. But then when the tickets go for sale, it's, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I'm busy. I'll do it next year. I'm like, you're going to be in the same place education-wise this time next year. Think about how successful you could have been to have that knowledge this past year, to just put yourself out there, throw it on a damn credit card. Revival was like $97 or something like that. And you got all these amazing industry icons. And the reason I named it Revival is because I felt that those people that all of you just named, that doesn't usually come right off the tongue. You guys are my people. So you're naming the Wilsons, you're naming Nick, you're naming Joe Blackwell because you've been in Revival and you've been part of this group. But to other people, if I went on Instagram today and said, name your hair hero, they might say, Larissa Love, Guy Tang, oh my gosh, what is her name? Jamie C. Who else? People that they see on Instagram, TikTok, and, YouTube. That's who their individual hair heroes are. And they don't know how amazing, Philip and Mary Wilson's story is and Joe Blackwell's story is. Like, I remember being at a L'Oreal event and Joe was amazing and teaching us how to upsell conditioning treatments. I went home and I think I made $500 the first week just doing one little thing that she taught me. And she said at the event, if anyone ever wants to just show up and shadow, come to my salon, just call me and I will put you to work. Like, wear something comfortable because you're going to be shampooing, you're going to be pulling foils, you're going to be put to work. And I was like, Joe Blackwell will let me come to her salon. So she finished speaking. I happened to be in New York to see her. And I was like, well, I don't want to come a whole other day and miss a day of income behind the chair. I want to do it right now. So I walked up to her afterwards and I said, this is really like asking a lot, but can I come? She said, I'm headed to the salon now. I said, can I come with you right now? She's like, sure. And we walked a bajillion New York City blocks to go to her salon right when it was, in the middle of people working. And we got the behind the scenes, behind the curtain tour. And she talks the talk, walks the walk, does the thing. She said, you're welcome to come. Now, if she said to me, oh no, today's not good, I have things to do, I have paperwork. She was like, yeah, hell yeah. Follow me right now. And her handsome husband walked with us. It was my girlfriend and I, and we walked to the salon and we spent the rest of the day there. It was amazing. There's not a lot of people that will do that. Not a lot of people will open their door and welcome you that way into their home. Mary Wilson and Anne have Destination Rejuvenation, where they were having events in Mary's beautiful Palm Springs home. Same thing, retro, really cool 60s vibe. They were inviting people into their home and sharing with them all the things that they had to share with us. They changed my life and made me who I am right now. Talking to you on this camera is because Mary did Destination Rejuvenation, and she said, what are you dreaming of? What do you want to be? I said, I want to educate people. I want to have events. I want to be a connector of other people. I want to do all these things. And she's like, so do it. Let's do it. And I started doing it because I attended that event. So if I would have said it, couldn't afford it at the time. I had smaller kids. I had mortgage, two salons, lots of headaches. Not only did I spend the money to go, but I took a bunch of my staff members to it because I knew it would change them as who they are. So we all went together and we laughed and we cried and we did laughter yoga and all the things. And I discovered an area of California that still owns my heart to this day. It is my absolute favorite place on earth. And Mary and Philip are blessed to live there. I get to visit a lot, but I don't get to live there yet. But it was life-changing. So if I would have said, no, I can't spend the money, I don't know what they're going to talk about, I'm uncomfortable, none of this would have happened. And the people whose lives I've been blessed to change as a hair color educator all stem from that one decision of attending Destination Rejuvenation. If you haven't gone to one, I don't know if they're doing it this year, but get your butt to one. It is amazing. I learned so much about myself, about how I talk when there's uncomfortable silence, and I fill the silence with a whole lot of nothing talking, and it's completely unnecessary. And I learned it when we did silent walking on the beach. It was the most incredible experience of my life. I would never be that silent on the beach. When I go to the beach, I have an earbud in and I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm talking to a friend on the phone, or I'm sitting in a beach chair reading a book. I'm never completely silent. And the things that bubble up when you get quiet are the gifts. They're the gifts that you need to hear and see and experience. And when we're running full throttle, always running from one thing to the next and always filling the silence, and you're home alone, so you call a friend because you're bored. Don't call the friend, just sit with the silence. Just sit with it and say, what am I doing every day that doesn't serve me anymore, that just is a habit for no other reason than it's just a habit? It's so many things that we do as habits we don't even realize that can be life-changing if we undo them. But sometimes it takes, being in a place in community. So Lisa, who's on here with us, I just spoke to her yesterday on the phone, and she said, I came back from the retreat and I raised my prices, and I'm in the salon and I'm saying to people, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at what you're doing right now. Like you need to raise your prices. She was empowering the people in her salon because she was empowered by being at the live event. She got up and hit the gong. We have a gong that we celebrate when someone makes a movement while we're there at the event. So many people raise their prices right there from their phone and hit the gong because they had been toying with it and nervous and worried, and my clients are going to leave and this one's going to get mad at me, and oh, let me just grandfather this one in under the old price, and all the nonsense that we do. That's what they were doing. And I bullied them into doing it right then. I'm like, do it right now. You're not going to die, I promise. And they did it, and they hit the gong, and we celebrate it. So there's something about doing things in community with other people where you just feel so energized and empowered, and you get it done. And then it's like, well, what else can I do now? What else am I doing that I should be doing differently? It's exhilarating. So if you're in a funk, I just helped my sister name this. She wants to do a energetic thing for hairdressers, like how to snap out of your funk. And I was like, you have to say in the tagline, snap the funk out of it, FUNK, because it's kind of kitschy where you sound like you're saying the bad word, but you're really not. But sometimes you just have to do something completely different to snap out of your autopilot that you're in. Go somewhere different, drive a different way to work, put your coffee in a different mug. Like I'm getting in the habit. This is my favorite mug. So this can become a funk. Get another new mug, don't keep wearing the same thing. Like I wear the same lipstick every damn day. I need a new lipstick. So shake it up. Send me, anything that pops into your head, or you can add it in the comments here. If you think of somebody after I hang up and like, oh, I wish I would have said so-and-so. Who are your hair heroes? Who do you want to see be part of this project? Who can I bring into your world and show you a peek behind the curtain? And what do you want to see in that peek? This morning, I curled my hair with a completely different curling iron because I went to get my hair done and the girl used a really long, narrow curling iron where mine is fatter and shorter. So my curls get tighter with my usual iron. So I was like, you know what? Johnny gave me a good blowout. I'm curling it for the first time. I don't want to use my usual. So I'm going to do that long curling iron where it's going to elongate this and make my hair look a little bit longer. So I wouldn't have bought that curling iron if I never had that girl do my hair. So do you want to know a new tool? Do you want to know their favorite blow dryer? Like Johnny just bought a new blow dryer that he's excited about. And my friend, I did her hair and she was like, holy shit, this blow dryer is amazing. It dries so fast. She's going to buy that blow dryer because Johnny used that blow dryer on her hair. So you get it? It's like, you want to see what the behind the scenes is, what tools they use, what techniques, what inspires them. The whole Vida Sassoon, where he was inspired by architecture, that blows my mind. I could never look at a building and then say, oh, I'm going to create a haircut because I saw that building. Don't get it. Wish he was alive for me to have that conversation with him. So I'm excited about this project. I'm excited that you guys are excited. I hope that you're going to support it once it's done because it's going to be very expensive to do. And thanks for being here for Coffee Chat. If you have any suggestions for next week's Coffee Chat, anything that you would like to hear me talk about, I'm open to, Grandma Betty's in heaven. You know what? I have an appointment with a psychic medium on August 1st. So you tell Aunt Betty, I want to try this, Whitney. You have a conversation with Aunt Betty and tell her that Teresa Roba is doing a medium gallery with Elaine Travis and that you want her to come through and give me a message for her. This will be the ultimate test of this woman's ability because she has done very crazy things. So I would love for Grandma Betty to come through and say hello. And I love that you have her shears. That's awesome. So thanks for watching. I will see you next week.